collaborate with you, and especially because we are doing collaborations right over competition, which I love.
Yes,
so thank you so much.
Thank you too. It's my pleasure.
Great question. Great question. And I will say a couple things is when I think about representing your company, first I think about representing yourself, because we have to be representing ourselves well and how we want to be respected back. So really how we treat others is how we will be treated. And so I think of representing ourselves very well, and then along with that, representing our companies. Now, say I'm a very casual person, and I'm not necessarily a blazer jacket person, but I'm working for a company that is, I make sure that I dress the part. Now, I actually wore this specifically because it's a cape blazer with a dress. And this is a little bit more fashion forward, but in my business, this is what I normally wear, something like this, because I'm a little bit more fashion forward. I do a lot with businesses, but a little bit more trendy. But if you're representing a company that's more sophisticated, then I have suggestions. More, well, I shouldn't say sophisticated, but maybe more into the finance area or Wall Street or whatever. You might want to pick more of a classic blazer, something more classic, that instead of having a cape blazer like I have on. This is one that I actually bought many years ago, and it's a great blazer because it's very basic. It has a little bit of funness to it, but it fits perfectly because I had it altered. I had it tailored to my body.
Sorry, what do you call a jacket again? What do you call it?
You can call it a jacket or a blazer. But I call them blazers depending. Because a jacket or a blazer, it's mixed and matched here in America.
Okay. And this is suitable. This is suitable to the corporate world, right?
Yes.
This right. It's more suitable, right? Thank you.
So the one that I have on is a little bit more, it still can be in the corporate world, but a little bit more fashion forward, but it still is a little bit more chic. Now, this, I do think if a sweater sometimes is nice, but you up level yourself when you wear a jacket, especially with a lapel. So here, this has a little bit of a collar. This one, you can see here.
What color is this? This is black, right?
This is black.
Okay.
And now, no, I actually don't wear black a lot, especially when I'm on video, because my hair is darker. So I actually, let me put the black one on for you so you can see the difference.
Okay, let's see.
And
now, right now we're talking about the kind of clothes that's suitable to the corporate world, and how to make this, how this will help you to represent your company appropriately. That's what we're talking about. That's the section we heard right now. Okay.
Yes. So here you see.
Wow.
You see the difference? And
it
looks nice, a little bit more sophisticated, right? So if I'm walking in somewhere to talk to somebody, I'm a little bit more sophisticated with a black blazer. But do you notice that my hair goes right into the blazer? So you have to think of what you're doing. So you can't see a definition too much there. So that's why on video, I do more lighter colors. You have to know the difference now that we're doing so much on video. We have to make sure that we have to think about that.
Yes. Okay.
Now,
another thank you very much.
Blazer. Yeah.
Okay.
Another fun blazer is this, because it's black and white, so it stands out. This would be something that would be really good for if you are working with somebody in a business and you're going to be having a big program that you're in charge of, and you're going to need, people are going to need to find you fast. It's always good to wear something that stands out so they can say, oh, go talk to the woman over there in the black and white blazer.
Wow, that's good. So the kind of color you wear in the corporate setting is also important, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yes. I was going to tell you, when you had mentioned that, one thing that somebody had shared with me that they shared is we were in a mastermind together. And what happened was she has 3 interviews. 2 are done in her office, and then if they pass those interviews, she then goes to a restaurant. And it is the question that she wants to see how they do at a restaurant and to see if they passed her test. And her test is how they treat others when they are going into the restaurant, who serves them water, who serves them wine, whatever it is. As long as they treat everybody on the staff the same, then they pass the test. So it's not necessarily the dining skills, it's the actual respect for others. And I find that awesome, because that's what it's all about, right? We can dress the part, we can have the best look.
Yes, we can have all the looks in the world, but without the proper character or attitude to match, it's zero to represent ourselves, whether it's personal brand or business brand. It's not good. It's not good. Okay, thank you so much for the wardrobe tips. I'm going to move on to the next question now. You see, time after time, I find that new entrant in business and even some managers and directors, when they come into the waiting area of a company, they don't smile, they don't greet. Some of them forget to say hello. I mean, to one or two people they meet. Here we call it the reception. So what should a professional do or to break this kind of bad behavior? Because this is not good. This is not representing your company or yourself in a good way. So how should a professional break this kind of bad behavior?
Great question. I would say, first off, think about how you are as a person and make sure you enjoy your job, that you're looking forward to going out into the room. So then you know to smile, have really good eye contact. Make sure you look at them in the eye and say, hello, nice to see you. May I get you some water? May I get you something to drink while you're waiting to see somebody? It's your appearance when you walk in somewhere. Into
a waiting area. And what you do, whether you greet the people there, it's so important, because you're not just representing yourself, you're representing the company as well. Okay, thank you, Nancy. As you said, okay, all right. So I'm going to move to the next question. One employee experienced any form of verbal abuse when representing the company. Should they respond?
If they are asked when they do verbal abuse to the company?
No. Okay, I'm asking when an employee out there is representing a company and they experience a verbal abuse, should they respond? Should they respond?
They actually should be very careful. If the verbal abuse is to them, they should just actually look at them and just say, I don't appreciate how you're speaking. And
Thank you.
I don't agree with that.
All right, because in my experience, I've seen some corporate individual fighting out there. Some of them are wearing their working branded clothes, and you can just tell by the way some of them dress in their corporate clothing that they're just coming back from work or they are on the job, and you saw them fighting. So I believe that is not representing your company in a good way. So the best the best response is to say, I don't appreciate the way you speak to me, right? Is that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's a very good one. I am going to move on to the next question now. So I've also come across a corporate individual who wears a branded work clothing of another company to visit a client. Do you think this is representing their company in a good way?
No. I don't think that you should wear somebody else's brand. Now, especially because if you're representing a brand. So if I'm representing brand A and I come in for business and I'm wearing brand B clothing and their brand B, that would not be a good thing, because people might think I actually work for the company, and you wouldn't want to have that thought process. Maybe you like their brand and you can tell them that you like their brand or like their logo, but you don't want to wear their brand.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
So, well, I would say that if I mean, to the manifesto thing, down to a branded pen. As someone who is representing another company, you should stay clear of branded items that does not belong to. So that's my own contribution. Thank you so much for your advice. I am going to ask you again, what are the practices an employee must engage in to help an employee's business grow?
You want to make sure that you help the employees grow by making sure that you are like, okay, wait, let me go back. Ask the question again. I'm kind of confused on the question.
Okay, I said, what are the practices that an employee should engage in to help an employee's business grow? If, for instance, you're employed in this company to work as maybe XYZ marketer or whatever, so, and you know, it's not just enough to get to, you need to contribute to any company where you work or any business where you are offered a business. So what are the practices you can engage in to help the business grow, whether it's your own business or you're working for someone now? So what are the practices you should engage in? That's my question.
The practices should be that you should honor them and actually speak well of them. And if there's something that you don't like, go to the management. Don't talk to somebody else about it. You want to speak highly of your company. And for others, let's talk, for instance, if I represent a makeup company, and maybe I like all the makeup except for maybe 2 items are not my favorite. I don't need to discuss the 2 that aren't my favorite. I can discuss the ones that I enjoy very much. Now, if someone point blank asks me, I don't want to lie, but I also want to be honorable to the company because it's important to speak well of them. And you know what? What we say to other people is so important, whether or not they work there or not, because we're representing the company and everybody hears everything now. And it's so important.
Sorry, I want to say to people, if you're watching right now, kindly drop your comment. If you have any question you want to ask Nancy, if you have any question for Nancy, thank you all for watching. Kindly drop your question while we go on. So, sorry, Nancy, just give me a few seconds to type. Kindly drop your, drop your question. All right, so Nancy, my question again is that, what should an employee do to help a business grow? What are the practices? That's my question again.
To help your business grow, you should represent them well, like we've talked about. Speak well of them. And then also, when you are out and about and you have like their shirt on or you're driving their car, how you're driving and how you're acting while you're representing the company is very important. Like, and you don't, what you don't want to do is if you're going out for a social event afterwards and you're going to be in some pictures that maybe aren't appropriate for the business, you want to make sure you're not wearing anything that has their label on it. People forget about that when they maybe go somewhere afterwards.
All right. One employee posted to her Facebook book. Let me read exactly what she said. She said, attending another stupid work meeting. Can't wait to get home. Can you imagine that? So what's your advice on talking negatively about the workplace?
Well,
what's your advice?
First off, my advice is you should never post anything like that because people any employees that are going to hire you or going to think about hiring you, they go onto your Facebook, your Instagram, they go onto any social media you're on, and they look to see who you are. So if you're posting that about the company that you're already working for and they're thinking of hiring they're probably not going to hire you.
I can't imagine.
So it's very, I mean, why would you say that? You may say that
what
to
she
a friend,
said.
But to write it down?
Don't do that, okay?
No,
Thank you, Nancy.
No.
So It's wrong, but I've seen people do it, and this particular person is actually it's actually a true story, and I've had to share it in one of my seminars. And I'll say again for your advice. So this is not a good practice. What is one of the ways an employee can advance in his or her career in the workplace?
How you can advance? Yes,
Yes,
I do.
in a
How you
working
can advance?
environment. Yes, in your career in a workplace. How can you advance in a
You can
workplace?
advance by always dressing the part of the next job, not the job that you have, but the job that's above you. So if you want to advance, you don't want to be dressing the part of who you are. Look and see what your bosses are wearing and start wearing what they're wearing, because then they're going to notice you. A collared shirt for men is always a plus. Always.
Okay. And, so I will also add that besides being a good representative of your company, you should also, if you want to advance in your career in a workplace, you should pay attention to the industry standards. Okay. When you work in a place, you're in a particular industry. So you should pay attention to the standards of that industry if you want to advance in your career in a workplace, and observe best practices. Also improve your work skills and your social IQ. That's my own contribution. So, okay. So I
do you
agree with that?
Absolutely. Especially learning things that you're always learning and taking classes to up-level yourself, but your social IQ is very important, because people, they will actually hire you more on your social IQ. If you all have the same, like there's maybe 10 people they're interviewing and 8 of them have the same skill set, they're going to take the one with the best manners.
Yes. And on the best business intelligence and social IQ. Yes. Okay. On I asked you a question earlier, sir. How can an employee help each or a company to sell more? And I want to say something on that. To help an employee sell more, I think you should know. I mean, my suggestion is that know more about the products and the services of that company. Do you agree with that?
Yes. I think it's very important to know all the services.
And all the services, the benefits. Also what?
Yes, because you can, what you say, like if you are showing them a product and you're talking about the product, but then you add in, and you know what, this company has class. They're helpful to all the people that work with them when you call customer service. Okay.
All right. Somebody is asking there, what color of shirt would you recommend for a male in the corporate world? Someone is asking you that.
Okay, great question. I would say, depending on where you are, a collared shirt, so we have a collar. I would do blue is a safe color. A lighter blue is a safe color. White can always stand out, but you want to be careful with white, because it could, depending on who you're seeing. You really want to dress for where you're going. Okay. You want to think about where you're going, and do you wear a tie or not? Is another question. I always say you can always wear a tie and get somewhere and realize maybe you're way overdressed and take the tie off. But you can't go somewhere and realize you're the only one without a tie if you don't have a tie in the car to put on. Okay, so basically you're recommending blue and white shirt for the corporate world, right? Is that your advice? Okay, all right. Okay, back to what we were saying before we answered that question. So to help an employer sell more, you should know about the products and the services, and maybe wherever you're going, so far you're on the job, you should carry a lot of business cards with you. What do you say about that? Absolutely. And may I share something about business cards with you? Please go ahead. People would love to know that. I have a business card holder that I have. It's always carrying your business card in something nice. It sets you apart, because most people take it out of their pocket. So if you bring it out and you show it, and men may have it in their wallets, and then when you present your card, you present it by giving it like this to them. So you're
Okay, so,
presenting it with the front.
okay, with the
So you're
front,
just presenting
with
it.
both hands. With both hands. Okay, all right.
Yes, and handing it. Then, as I'm accepting it, I will look at it. The best way to accept is to look at it and say, oh, well, you work for XYZ. And I see that you're the corporate assistant. How do you like your job? So you're actually looking at the card and saying something about it. So you're not just taking it and putting it in your pocket. You're actually commenting, so they know you are actually interested.
Okay.
Watch next
so
time.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
watch next time. I was going to say, watch next time when people give you cards. Most people just go, oh, here you go. And it's best not to even, you should only give a card when you're asked.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. And this is one of the ways you can represent your company in a good way, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
and they shouldn't be torn. You know, they should look really nice. They shouldn't be torn at all because you're representing the company.
Yes, at the edges, understand. Okay, so again, I want to rephrase some questions that we've looked at, like the clothing. You said, okay. So on the clothing, your advice is that it should stay of clothes that are not aligning with the culture of the company you work for, right?
Yes. Now you have to look at different cultures because you can look at Apple. Let's talk about Apple. Everybody, a lot of people know what Apple is, right? Well, the CEO of Apple wore a T-shirt, a black T-shirt, Steve Jobs. That was his dress. But depending on where you're at in that business, you will decide maybe a T-shirt isn't yours, but you maybe don't want to dress with a tie, but you can up level a little bit for yourself, for your own personal self. But you have to be careful because you have to look at how everybody else is dressed also. So it just depends because now Mark from Facebook, he actually usually just wears a T-shirt, right? But when he went to court for something, he had a tie, a shirt, and a blazer because he knew who he was going to be in front of. So even though he's the CEO, owns it, he chose to dress appropriately when he had to go to court for something.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. So what other polish tips do you have for employees to properly represent their company in a good way?
I would say that when you really hold your straight up, walk well, look at people in the eye, greet them, and especially now you want to be careful on how you greet people because maybe a handshake isn't at this time the perfect way to do it.
Yes. Okay, on that, on the handshake, sorry, I recently put up a post. I saw it on I saw the idea or the concept on another business etiquette expert page. He suggests that instead of the handshake, we should do a hand on the heart greetings. It's on my page. So you really need to watch out for handshake at this time. Maybe you just do the heart or the hand on the chest or the heart. Yes. I saw Obama did that. Obama and Mitchell. I saw them do that in one. Yes, on one picture like that. So it's very good. Go ahead, please. Sorry about that.
I totally agree with you. That one way is just to go, hello, nice to meet you. Or sometimes just taking your hands together so you're not going to shake. They know you're not going to shake. Nice to meet you. Or you can put them behind you and say, nice to meet you. Some people, recently, people have come and said, oh, you know, they give me a little elbow bump. I don't love that. But you know what? When somebody does it to me, I do it anyway because I'd rather do that than a handshake right now. But I personally just think saying nice to meet you. But if somebody does come and give you a handshake and you actually give a handshake, just remember you're in charge of the germs that you receive. So just make sure your hands are washed before you touch anything that you shouldn't be.
Okay. So what's your advice on tardiness? Whether to work or to another company? What's your advice on tardiness? Tardiness. Yes, lateness. Lateness.
It's very important that that is not your regular routine. And how you, when you are late, you're saying something's more important than wherever you're going. And now
whether to a client or a company or to your own company, right?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, you don't want to keep anybody waiting. And I have to tell you, that's something I've had to work on. You know, because I wasn't judging my time right. So that's something I've had to work on, and I really realized that it is not, what you're showing is that they're not as important. So you want to make sure that you think about the timing and how long. And if you are going to be late for whatever reason, then make sure you let them know. There's so many ways now to let them know technology. But if you keep letting them know each time, then it becomes, that's your habit, and you don't want that as a habit. And if you're the owner of the company, you're now setting that example for everybody else to be late.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Nancy. We are going to bring this interview, this discussion to an end. I'm so glad to have you join us today. But before we round up, do you have other advice you would love to provide for professionals that are presently watching or that are going to watch this video later on? Any other advice for them to represent themselves and their company in a good way?
Well, I first thank you again for inviting me. It's just been an honor to get to know you and be on this. I would say
it's an honor.
I would say the absolute number one, hands down, is respect. No matter what you're doing, respect for yourself, for others, respect of what you're wearing, respect of how you're treating people, respect for not being late. Respect is so important. It's so important.
Okay, at workplace. Thank you very much. Thank you once again for joining us on Expert Survivor Gear. Nancy, I wish you industry best success. Thank you again. I would love to bring you back. I would love to bring you back. Thank you very much. Regards to family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a lovely evening now. Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.